Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello and welcome to our Day 2 coverage of the ECL 24 Spring Elite Division Finals. My name is Brandon B. Major Bigsby, alongside my partner for today. You love him, you know him, we missed him so dearly, none other than Martindale. Martindale, thank you for taking the time today to join me here in the booth here for the rest of the finals.
No worries, I mean, happy to be here. It's been a while since, well, I don't usually watch NHL games, but, you know, good time to make up for that now, and I don't know, hopefully we get hopefully we get more than one game at least, so hopefully get some good play.
Well, hey man, you chose a good time to get back into it. A 3-0 series lead coming into today for Tunnel Vision, but if you weren't with us during our coverage yesterday, 3 absolutely throwing games, a 5-2 victory in Game 1 for Tunnel Vision, a 2-1 victory that saw Vatu score a goal with 27 seconds left in the third period to give Tunnel Vision that win, and then a thrilling double overtime game that we saw Lighton get the game-winning goal for in game number 3. So, Tunnel Vision feeling good coming into today. Still some business to take care of. Valokuitunen, on the other hand, a steep hill to climb, but looking to take things one game at a time. So we will take a quick look here at the bracket just to show you how these two teams have gotten here up to this point. And as you can see, a lot of the big stories so far is these two teams rather similar paths. A 5-game series win and a 7-game series win. Valokuitunen winning their quarterfinal series against the Blackjacks in 7 games. That 8 seed tested them rather mightily, but they were able to get past them and face off against an excellent team that was very hungry, hadn't been to the finals yet before. A lot of people felt like maybe this could be the year that they were able to push through that glass ceiling. The Valokuitunen really stepped up their game from that quarterfinal series, looked so much better than what we saw them the week before, and were able to punch their ticket into the finals. While for Tunnel Vision, a team that struggled in the regular season compared to their standard, were great offensively, but struggled defensively at the 3rd worst goals against average in the league in the regular season, went up against a Bjorklöven team that had been rather good throughout the year, a little bit inexperienced, but had come in, met expectations, pushed for a playoff spot, and got in at the 6th seed. Tunnel Vision, a 2-time champion, just a little bit too much for them. They won that series in 5, and then the classic Strikers versus Tunnel Vision series comes in again in the semifinals. Tunnel Vision, from down 3-2 in the series, Vatu scores a goal with 2 seconds left in Game 6 to push it to a Game 7, and Tunnel Vision wins Game 7 1-0 with a goal by Tombo in the first period to push his team back into the finals for the 5th straight season. And now, as we saw yesterday, Tunnel Vision winning 3 straight games where Valokuitunen and Esports are defending champs. And Martindale, I think a lot of people very surprised to see the series line at what it is. Maybe not the Tunnel Vision is up, but the fact that it is 3-0, because it feels like this would be a lot closer, especially when you do go back and look at the games from yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, even if you, if you look at, like, the face stats, they are pretty even, and granted, that's not always the best way, I suppose, of looking at it, because it can kind of mask certain issues. But yeah, no, in terms of player versus player and just general state of play, it does seem like it's a pretty even matchup so far. There's a few key things, I guess, that are kind of turning the games at the moment, so let's I guess we'll just have to see if Valve have made any adjustments since yesterday.
Absolutely, and we'll get a little bit deeper into that a little bit later as we go through our pregame, as we'll take a quick look as well as what these two teams are fighting for, as the prize pool for these two sides. The winner of our series today will take home their share of 6,000 euros. The second place team, the loser of today, at least going to take home 2,500, and then both Strikers and X and the teams that were bounced out in the semifinals, each taking home 1,250 euros for themselves. So that 6K euro prize pool, obviously a nice little addition, but these two teams, very competitive, multi-time champions at the highest level of NHL esports in Europe. They don't want just the money. They want to lift the trophy at the end of the day. And let's take a quick look at how we got to this point. Some highlights from our 3 games yesterday between Valokuitunen Esports and Tunnel Vision. Let's go ahead and turn to that real quick and show you guys what happened yesterday and how we got to this point here today. As you can see, the teams are matched up. The game is loaded in. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 of our ECL Spring 24 Finals. In the Elite Division, who will take home the trophy? Face off, we will be looking at the perspective of Valokuitunen. They're in their orange-colored uniforms, while Tunnel Vision in their white and blue as we are underway for game number 1. It's a quick turnover, and here comes Vatu. Breakaway for Tunnel Vision. Poke checked away from behind. Beautiful defensive play from Domi, and plays like that are ones that we talked about in the rewind, stopping the counterattack. As Valokuitunen comes on the other end and scores. Nicky Dangle starts off the scoring here in the finals. Just the little margins in this series can be the difference between wins and losses. Tunnel Vision now find themselves down by 1 after not being able to capitalize on an opportunity. Another shot, they score! Pinkerty, the centerman for Tunnel Vision, ties this up on the rebound, and it's 1-1. We've got fireworks to start out this series. Pass in the middle to Nicky Dangles, couldn't get a shot off as it's turned over, but Valokuitunen to get it back. A shot from Pika Roger, and he scores! Beats Benu right side. And one of the leading goal scorers for this Valokuitunen team puts the puck in the back of the net, retakes the lead. It is 2-1 now here late in the first period, and these two teams going punch for punch. It was bumped off of that puck, and now here comes Tunnel Vision on the counterattack. Nice job for Valokuitunen getting back as they go, and they score! A quick opportunity. If you blinked, you would have missed it. It's Pinkerty, yet again, his second of the game. And Tunnel Vision tied this thing up yet again. As you see it on the replay, it just squeaks through the 5-hole of Fincere. Board goes up to the point to Wenger. Wenger skates in, looking for a passing option, puts the shot on, but it's blocked by Domi. Tunnel Vision still on the attack. Shot from Wenger, does it? Rebound, and they score! Leitinen puts it in, and Tunnel Vision takes their first lead of the game on the power play, their first power play goal of the entire playoffs. And it couldn't have come at a bigger point. Made by Benu, and here comes Tunnel Vision on the other end. Lights it in the Vatu. Vatu shot on, goes in! It looked like it was saved by Fincere at first, but Vatu sneaks it in, and it's a 4-2 advantage for Tunnel Vision early in the third period. As you get a look at it there. And that's an even better angle of it. Once again, that close quarters ability for Valokuitunen coming on the other end. 7 minutes into this third period. Valokuitunen gonna have to act quickly, down by 2. Here comes Tunnel Vision, pass, and they score on the cross crease. It's Leitinen this time. And Valokuitunen down by 3, going to call a timeout here. As we'll get a look at the replay of how this thing developed. By Fincere, had a chance to maybe extend their lead just a little bit, but Fincere denying it. As Vatu controls it, 2 seconds, 1, and that will do it. Tunnel Vision take the 1-0 lead here in the 24 Spring Finals. Game number 2, thank you for sticking with us. Once again, Valokuitunen coming in on the other end. Nicky Dangles at the right boards, goes back to Tamu and gets it back. Pika Roger back to the game, shot on and he scores! Nicky Dangles puts it in, the pass from behind the net leads to Nicky Dangles in front, and it is a 1-0 lead, very similar to what we saw in game 1. Valokuitunen striking first. Roger has it, tried to pass that down low to Benito, and it finds its way to him, pass in front, shot on, saved by Benu! A huge save for Benu, and that would have been a 2-0 Valokuitunen lead. Waiting, gives it to Leitinen, goes down low behind the net, pass across in front, puck loose, found by Vatu, shot on, gloved away by Fincere. Penalty called, so he was just bumped off rather than a tripping call. Vatu, to Wenger, the Vatu, shot on, save made by Fincere. In all 3 phases is a delayed penalty going to be called here against Valokuitunen. And a shot on, they score! Vatu sneaks one past Fincere, and the question is answered. A tying goal for Tunnel Vision. And it was on the delayed penalty, and it was that one little move at the boards right there by Leitonen over at that right wing side. He stopped, found Vatu on the opposite end. He shot on, poke check from behind, and lost the puck. Leitonen now with possession, and here's Vatu, one-on-one, cut, shot on, glove by Vincente. The television up on shot, and he saved it again! Valokuitunen trying to even this series up at one apiece. As Leitonen pass across, a delayed penalty going to be called. Now, with the man advantage, they are 0 for 1 in this game, 1 for 2 in this series on the power play. Tombo at the point to Leitonen, shot on, blockered away by Vincente. Puck loose behind the net, found by Picardi. Picardi to Tombo at the point, over to Vatu, shot on, and he scores! Vatu beats Vincente, blocker side, and Tunnel Vision takes the lead with less than a minute remaining. Loses the puck for a moment, but picked up by Vatu. Battle for it, the corner boards, 5 seconds remaining. Last gasp for Valokuitunen, and Teemu has it. A shot on, saved by at the buzzer. And Tunnel Vision deal game 2. 2-1 your final. A 2-0 series lead. And now the pressure mounts on Valokuitunen coming into game 3. Game 3 on tap and about to get underway. Leitonen buzzing in the offensive zone. A one-time shot saved by Bennu. They're still pushing. Another shot saved by Bennu. Piki Roger on a lot of the right side. Valokuitunen looking resurged. Teemu gets past the defender. Teemu backhand shot saved again by Bennu. Piki Roger at the left corner. To Teemu behind that wraparound chance. Another save by Bennu. The championship for the spring division is a shot on net. Saved there by Bennu. Benito has it, the left face-off dot. Shoots and he scores! It beats Bennu, blocker side! The captain, Benito, puts in for Valokuitunen, and for the 3rd straight game, Valokuitunen strikes first. And that's the benefit of just putting the puck on net. That's what we said Valokuitunen needed to do more of, too. And there's still over 8 minutes remaining in period number 1 of this game 3. A resurged and rejuvenated Valokuitunen team, but Vatu puts a stop to it. He sneaks it past Vincente and ties this game up at 1 apiece. Found by Vatu. 11 minutes remaining here in period 2. Tunnel Vision, one-time shot, a rocket by Leitonen. A 5-on-3 power play coming up for Valokuitunen, and it's both defensemen in the box. Clear this out. A minute remaining on the 5-on-3 advantage. Domi past the blue line to Teemu with the right side. Over on the one-time shot to Pika Roger, but it's saved by Bennu. Controlled by Domi at the point to Teemu. Teemu back to Domi. Back to Teemu. Valokuitunen shot on, hit the post with the shot. 10 seconds on the man advantage for Valokuitunen. Teemu had it, lost it. Vatu gets it, clears it out, and a potential breakaway is coming out of the box. It's Leitonen, the backhand shot saved by Vincente. Tunnel Vision, Tombo now with it. 2 minutes remaining here in period 3. Picardi slows down, gives it across. One-time shot goes wide from Leitonen. For Valokuitunen. 47 seconds remain. Domi past the blue line to Nicky Dangles to Benito. Benito passes across, puck loose in front of it. 4 seconds. Leitonen behind the net. Leitonen pass across, picked off by Pika Roger. The goal closes the gap and gives them new life heading into tomorrow's game 4. Who will find it? We'll find out now. Overtime underway. And now here comes Tunnel Vision trying the counterattack. Banger controls possession, gives it over to Picardi, and finds Tombo after the poke check, but it's lost. It's lost. Here comes Valokuitunen. Pika Roger, backhand shot, puck loose in front, but found by Picardi. Poke checked away by Tombo. Nice defensive play there by Tunnel Vision, and here they come on the counterattack. Banger, spin move, pass across, big save by Vincente! A game-saving stop for Valokuitunen. Teemu skates and then past the blue line, lost it. Benito picks it up. Benito pass to the slot, shot on, puck loose. Picked up by Pika Roger at the corner. Held by Domi. To Teemu with the right side point. 8 seconds out, pass across, save made by Bennu! He robbed them blind! here comes Valokuitunen on the other end. Nicky Dangles to Benito behind him. Benito cuts into the middle. Puck loose. Benito having a hard time picking it up. Almost went in. Tunnel vision get it, and they'll move out of their own zone. Vatu with speed down the boards. Vatu past the peaker to get the high slot. Now Vatu got the cross, and he scores! Lights it in with the winner in double overtime! And Tunnel Vision with a stranglehold on the series. A 3-0 lead headed into tomorrow. All right, that is a quick look at everything that happened yesterday, and 3 amazing games, all in thrilling fashion in different ways. But we also have an added element to our broadcast today, as we will be announcing our awards for the season, starting out with Ford. And this is an award that I think a lot of people are going to be interested to see who comes out with this one, including myself. So many good forwards throughout the season, Martindale. And I think that realistically, you could probably make a good case for 3, 4, or 5 guys to have a genuine case to win this one this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Again, I've only really seen snippets, but like some of the names that are always present each and every season. So, yeah, no, it'll be interesting on my behalf to see where all the voting is.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those familiar names. You kind of think guys like Benito, like Eki, Vatu, Nicky Dangles, Piku Roger, and a mix of some new names in there as well. You have Ardo, who had a really good season. Laune, who in his rookie year was top 5 in points. Suf, next to him in Unwanted, a career best season. So let's find out who our winner is for the Ford of the Season award. And it will be Nicky Dangles, the right winger for Valokuitunen. Martindale, not a surprise at all to see him take home this award yet again. One of the most skilled players that you'll find in the ECL community. And in tough competition too, but definitely well deserved, and not a shock to see him take this one home.
Oh yeah, not a surprise in the slightest. I mean, Nika, just from playing against him and probably getting curb stomped in like 99% of the games against him. It's not so much the flashiness that he has, because obviously he does have flashiness. It's just, I guess, the dependability, and the base level is so much higher compared to so many players. Like, the ceiling is there, obviously, but the base level is just, it's hard to really compare against.
Yeah, and I think too, something underappreciated about Nicky Dangles is that with the flair, he's a guy that doesn't really turn the puck over that much. You see guys have the puck on their stick a lot. They like to pull out some of the mechanical moves, which Nicky, one of the better players mechanically that you'll find in the league, but he is also rather efficient with the puck on his stick. He's always reliable. You can typically see him making a play to some extent throughout each game, but at the same time, he is also rather clean with the puck too. A funny stat, he only had 144 giveaways in the 30 games that he played, and realistically, when you look at some of the other top guys, most of them are in the 180s, 190s, a lot of them over 200. So to see him with a lower end rate, with the talent that he has and the amount that he has the puck on his stick, very impressive. So congratulations to him for taking home that award. And Valokuitunen Esports going to need him to step up even bigger today if they want to make the comeback from down 3-0 in this series. So let's take a quick look at the team matchup between these two sides coming into today, as you'll see how they've done so far in these playoffs. And it's interesting. Before yesterday's games, we were talking about how Valokuitunen and Tunnel Vision were pretty even offensively in the playoffs, but Valokuitunen with a defensive advantage. Now, all of a sudden, Valokuitunen have allowed a lot more goals. They haven't scored many in counter, and it looks like Tunnel Vision has been the significantly better team. And that power play percentage not updated correctly. They did have 2 power play goals yesterday, their first of the postseason. But, overall, Martindale, it's kind of interesting to see these stats turning the way they have been. I don't think many people expected it to look this way after those 3 games yesterday.
Yeah, I think... yeah, like I said before with the face stats, it can kind of be influenced, well, obviously it's influenced by the previous teams they've played. So it's interesting that it's flipped, but at the same time, when you get into the finals, obviously the 2 teams are very good. but there could also be stylistic differences that kind of exacerbate minor issues in previous series that then get blown up and exposed. And I think we might be seeing that right now, which is why it's just kind of flipped on its head. So yeah, we'll just just really have to see if Valve have made the adjustments, if they saw anything, if they did any like video review of the games yesterday, or if they're just kind of trying to just do a mental reset.
Yeah, and that's something that Benito had mentioned in my interview with him yesterday is that Valokuitunen, they're a team that do like to kind of talk things through and strategize beforehand. So obviously that original plan not working, I have to imagine they probably talked some things over earlier today or maybe not after games last night, but in the last 24 hours, they have probably chatted some things through about what they want to adjust and what they want to see changed within their game to slow this television team down. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of our two sides here today. Starting out with the number 3 seed in Tunnel Vision. The forward trio is going to be the typical look. Left wing, Vatu. The center, Pikari. And at right wing, Leitinen. The pairing back on defense will be Tombo at left defense and Wenger at right defense. In between the pipes will be Bennu, while for the number 1 seed, Valokuitunen in Esports, Pika Roger at left wing, Benito at center, and Nicky Dangles, your forward of the season, to round out the 3 forwards for Valokuitunen. Back on defense will be Domi at left D and Temu at right D, while manning the goal, once again, Fincere in between the pipes for Valokuitunen. 2 lineups that have been very stacked, have played well together all season long, and will look at them position by position, as we'll take a look at the centers here first, as Pikari and Benito match up against each other. And, Benito, not necessarily his most impressive statistical season. Obviously, the stats don't really show the value that he brings on the ice. He's typically one of the leaders in the statistics, which a lot of people instantly go to, but it's the things that he does outside of the points that really do make this Valokuitunen team what they are. While Pikari, a guy on the other end that, again, the stats have been great, but a lot of the stuff that he does contribute also does not necessarily show on the stat sheet. Both these two, such important pieces of their team that can at times really be the straw that stirs the drink for their offense.
Yeah, I mean, personally, as far as the center matchup goes, I would probably, I would lean towards Benito, because like you say, it's not necessarily the points that he provides, because obviously he provides points, but it's, eh, I think Benito is one of the few players in the scene where the more pressure you put on him, the better he will play. The man has the ability to just fling passes faster than you think should actually be possible, and just kind of pull stuff out of thin air. Um, I think whenever I'd play against a team with Benito in the past, mostly H-Reds, usually he's the player to look out for the most. Because if you leave him alone for 1 second, he's going to make you pay. I haven't played too much against Pikari, so I can't really comment too much on him. But, I mean, obviously the stats don't lie. He is more than pulling his weight right now in then some.
Yeah, and impressive, especially when you do have a guy like Benito that you're matching up against on the other end. That face-off difference going to be something to look out for as well. We saw Benito really get a lot of the face-off victories at those critical points throughout the first 3 games yesterday. So some of those possession battles at the face-off dot going to be a key to look out for here in these next few games. Now on to the wingers. And I think that this is when you think of these 2 teams and when they match up, you can make an argument for the defense, but I think that these 4 players on your screen, Martindale, a lot of times are the ones that people typically think of first. You have Pico Roger and Nicky Dangles, 2 of the best goal scorers, arguably in all of Europe, and then you have Vatu and Leitinen, who really are in that same category. And the stats have shown it, the play has shown it, although for Tunnel Vision, in the playoffs, Vatu and Leitinen have been a little bit more impactful because of that goal scoring difference.
Yeah, I mean, one way I'd used to kind of look at players, statistics-wise, is how much they would change their point production from regular season to playoffs. And for most players, it would take a dip, because they kind of play a way to get points in the regular season, if that kind of makes sense. Very few players end up elevating their play in the playoffs, but I mean, as you can see from Vato and Leitinen, they have elevated it and then some. I mean, 31 points in 15 games played is pretty insane. But I mean, just looking at the Valor side, again, the points totals are pretty good, but it does kind of feel like not as high as you would expect, I suppose. So yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. But definitely, in terms of winger matchup, this is about as good as you can hope for out of any team combination in the entire league.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually had the pleasure of speaking to one of these wingers after the games yesterday. We heard from Leitonen after he got that game 3 double overtime game winning goal. We mentioned how, he's a guy that elevates his game this time of year. We got to speak to him about what his thoughts have been on the series so far and what Tunnel Vision is going to look to do to close out the series here today. I am now joined by Tunnel Vision right winger Arttu Leitonen, also known as just Leitonen. Leitonen, thank you so much for taking a few moments to join me right after that game 3 double overtime just concluded.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Yeah, man, nice to have you. And as I mentioned, we're recording this right after those first 3 games of the series. You just came off of that game-winning goal to take a 3-0 series lead. I gotta ask you, man, what was the feeling and the excitement like in your chat when you saw that goal go in?
Of course, it's a huge goal for us. The party chat exploded right away, and the penalty kill what we had before that goal was huge, and Beno made some great saves. So it was great and important win for us.
Yeah, a very important win for you guys. And as I mentioned, up 3-0 now in the series. And it feels like you've won each game in a different way. You came from behind in game number 1 after Valokuitunen started out with that hot start, won that game 5-2. You win game 2 late in the third period with a power play goal late. And then in game 3, as you mentioned, double overtime, having to fight off multiple opportunities for Valokuitunen. What do you feel like has been the key to you guys' success to winning each of these games?
Well, today before the game started, we had a little brief together that we are not stressing about the result, just enjoy the games together, and that was the key maybe today. We played with good mentality and trusted our own game, and it worked pretty well.
Yeah, you mentioned trusting your own game, and obviously being a team that has been here plenty of times before, has played Valokuitunen on this stage plenty of times before. I'm sure very, very helpful to being able to do that. Still some business to take care of. The 3-0 series lead, but the job far from finished. Still need to win one more game to clinch the title. What do you feel like you guys need to do heading into tomorrow to go ahead, clinch this thing, seal the deal, and lift that trophy at the end of the day?
Well, we have to be patient in our defense zone like we did today, and take those couple of stupid penalties away what we took today, and just trust that we're going to score the goals what we need to win the game.
Absolutely. It felt like the special teams a big factor as well. You guys were perfect on the penalty kill, especially in that game 3. Valokuitunen 0 for 6 in that game. And if I'm correct, I believe 0 for 7 throughout the entire final series so far. And you guys able to convert on multiple power plays as well. When you hadn't scored on the power play all postseason long coming into the series, what do you feel like has gone behind some of that success? Because it feels like it's been one of the key factors to you guys being up in the series so far.
Well, the power play, we have just talked that we have to play more simple and just let the game decide what we're gonna do on the ice. So we of course have scouted a little bit what the Reds are doing on the penalty kill, but we're not stressing about it too much. And our penalty kill have been like decent, even though the procents maybe not there, but the bounces haven't been on our side before this series, and I think today they were, and then it was amazing when we needed him.
Leitonen, one more question for you here before I let you go. Before this series started earlier today, we saw Tunnel Vision's team account tweet the video of all of the highlights from each of your previous 4 finals appearances, obviously multiple championships in that time. And you quote tweeted saying, #LastDance with the 2 hearts for each color of this Tunnel Vision team. Obviously, you guys enjoying the ride. We know what's on the line. We know you want to end this era off lifting that championship trophy above your heads. But as you mentioned earlier, the job not finished, still have to win one more game. How do you kind of suppress all of those emotions, suppress all of those things, knowing this is your last ride together as a group to finish the job, lock in, and clinch the series out here later today?
Yeah, we have to change those emotions to our strengths, and we have to just just trust the game what we are playing at the moment. I think the defending side what we are having right now is really good, and Beno is locked in right now. So I think we are a hard team to beat, but of course the penalties what we have took in the game 3 cannot happen again. So maybe those are the key points. We're gonna score the goals what we need, and that's the way to end this journey.
Well, hey, you've been able to score the goals so far. You've been able to clinch 3 victories out of the 4 needed, and you're 1 victory away from ending in that journey at the very top of the ECL's summit. Leitonen, thank you so much for taking a few moments to chat with me. Best of luck to you guys for the rest of the series.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just as like a point, actually, even just a few seasons ago, defenders were kind of getting a lot more goals than they are now. Like, if you look at all these defenders, only one actually has any goals, and even then, that's at 2 on Vengary. Which I guess is kind of a showing or changing of the times, because teams just collapse the middle, so it's really difficult to actually get that shot through. It'd be interesting. Instead of like the shots blocked, if there was like the reverse of that, so like how many shots they've taken have been blocked, because I imagine it'd just be like through the roof on all of them. But yeah, it's difficult to like really compare defenders from like differing teams, because they generally kind of line up and play so differently and utilize defenders in different ways. So like as you've seen in the games yesterday, like Valo likes to kind of take their time and perhaps involve their defenders a little bit more than Tunnel in some capacity. But yeah, it's really difficult, and I think it's just a case of just seeing how it goes on a game-to-game basis. But again, similar to the wingers, I mean, these are some of the best defenders you can actually think of in the entire community. So they won't disappoint in the game coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too about the goals and the shots. It's not on the screen, but I'll tell you the shot numbers for each defenseman. Tombo has taken 11 in 15 playoff games. Wenger has taken 12, while for Valokuitunen, Teemu has taken 32 shots. Domi has taken 9. So outside of Teemu, a lot of these guys have not really had the opportunity to get the puck on that much, and that's not necessarily even just from play style, but as you mentioned, a lot of those shots probably just being blocked constantly from traffic in front.
Yeah. It's, like I said, with teams collapsing, it makes it so much difficult. And imagine the shot gets through as well. There's a very high chance it's been deflected at that point anyway from one of your own team members. So it's rough as a defender to actually rack up a lot of goals. And I think, it's evident by the fact that 3 out of 4 don't have any, which is no disservice to them or disrespect to them, rather. It's just kind of the way the game functions at this point in time.
Last but not least, we'll take a look at the 2 starting goalies for tonight's matchups, and these 2 have been absolutely phenomenal all season, or all postseason long. Benu on the left side for Tunnel Vision, Vincere on the right side for Valokuitunen. They've really been amazing so far in this series, especially Vincere, a guy that I think a lot of people expect to be in contention for goaltender of the year, which we will reveal here a little bit later on in our coverage today. Benu struggled in the regular season, was below an 80 save percentage after being a goaltender of the year candidate last season. has been a bit better so far in the postseason and really seems like he has saved his best for last. Absolutely phenomenal so far in this series, as really both goaltenders so far in this series have stepped up and made some very big saves throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's okay. It's gonna sound a little bit harsh, but it's compliment. I promise. It's impressive, really supremely impressive how much Finzer has elevated his game in the last year or two. Because I think back seasons, maybe like four or five ago, whenever we'd play Finzer, we would kind of go into the game thinking we would get at least 2 goals anyway, because just from the goalie matchup, we would have the edge. But I mean, as you can see from Finzer's stats, he's elevated his game massively, and that obviously isn't going to be true anymore. The man is getting the edge in pretty much any goalie matchup you could think of, and that's not a criticism of Bennu, because the man is playing outstanding right now. It's just Finzer is just achieving in a whole new level, basically.
Yeah, and that's been the story of both of these guys' careers. Two goaltenders that started out on the lower ranks on teams that were not even in the elite division or were on the lower tier of the elite division. You remember Bennu, he was a guy that was on YMCA Esports, and they were a team that were kind of always around that no man's land, the relegation zone. He was always a standout goalie that didn't really get his due and came to this tunnel vision team and has really emerged as one of the top names on Vincere, a top guy in his time with Reality Check, that team folding after last season, or the season before rather, and came over to this Valokuitunen team with big shoes to fill, with FaZe being there for so long, and now here he is, looking like one of the best goalies, not even in just Europe, but arguably throughout the world, as we get set here, our Game 4 in just a matter of minutes. And guys, are you ready? I know we're ready. Let's take a few moments to pump things up here as we get ready for the rest of our final series here today. And Martindale, I don't know about you, but the adrenaline already flowing for me there after watching that great pump-up video. As you see, our two teams have matched, and, you know, obviously the situation clear. Tunnel Vision, one victory away from lifting yet another ECL championship, and what they have said is their last dance, more than likely, as a group, while Valokuitunen in a steep hill to climb, but having to take it one game at a time. Martindale, I'm curious, what is it for both sides that you are going to be looking out for here the most in Game 4?
Sorry, I was just quickly looking at the bills, see if there's anything fun. From the games I saw yesterday, I think the the difference maker might well be the neutral zone trap from Valo. It kind of seemed like Tunnel were getting in very easily, and with speed, which is you either let them in easily or you let them in with speed. If you're gonna pick one, don't do both. Obviously, it's better said, easier said than done. So I think that's probably the thing I'm going to be looking at for the most, and how much they're collapsing, because it did seem like they almost weren't believing in themselves. So hopefully they have a little bit more hearty now. So we'll see.
Well, we'll see if they can do it again. Only have to take it one game at a time here if you're Valokuitunen. You're not going to be able to make it up all in one play, all in one period, or all in one game. As we are underway here for game number 4, Tunnel Vision a chance to lift the trophy. Valokuitunen trying to close things up. It's a pass across the open net for Nicky Dangles, but he just couldn't put it home there. Exact start that you ideally would like to see for Valokuitunen Esports, despite not getting the goal, but a quick opportunity. As here comes Tunnel Vision on the other end. As a pass across there is Vatu trying to give it over to Leitonen. As a penalty going to be called.
Yeah, cross-checking is probably one of the most annoying penalties you can take, because you know as soon as you've done it, like you just haven't given it enough time to reset. But yeah, so that one was a bit.
Yeah, and that's one of the penalties that I think we've seen really the most of in NHL 24 with the new hitting mechanics. A lot of players, it takes time to adjust to that. You're so used to doing things one way for so long when playing this game, and some players still adjusting. As Tunnel Vision now on the power play, scored twice on it yesterday as a one-time shot there from Leitonen, saved by Vincere.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the thing that I was going to look out for the most, because they're just collapsing a bit too hard, and they're just opening up the shots wide on the left or right. So probably just going to have to see if they can adjust and get someone out there pretty quickly.
Hanger with the puck at the point, circles around the face-off circle, trying to find the good play. Works his way in, but it's turned over. Is Valokuitunen going to try to get things out? Domi gives it over to Teemu. They're not going to dump it. They're going to try and play into the offensive zone. They do. Nicky Dangles has it, but lost it. Nice play there defensively by Vatu to disrupt it.
Good pressure. Yeah, good pressure by Teemu, though. I think just let him into the zone. I mean, hey, he can keep going for it, which is honestly the best thing you can do.
Just 3 seconds left on the Tunnel Vision power play as Pico Roger now out of the box. We're back to a shot on net. Saved there by Vincere. Valokuitunen able to take possession and get out of their own end. Here comes Nicky Dangles on the other end. Pass across was intercepted by Picardy. We'll go behind the net and feed it over to Vatu to start the breakout. Now Tombo gives it over to Wenger. Tries to find Leitonen over the borders, but not successful. As Valokuitunen's neutral zone defense giving Tunnel Vision some trouble, and it's going to end up leading to an offside.
I mean, that's basically as perfect you can play it. If the guy is going to try and force it on the pass or saucer on the wing, you just literally stick your player on him and just obstruct it as much as you can.
Trying to get in, finds Makari, shot on, easy save made by Vincere. Now Valokuitunen look to counter on the other end. Here's Nicky Dangles with it up the boards. Dangles back to Teemu, to Domi at the left point. Domi, pressured by Leitonen, trying to find some space. Shot on, was picked up by Wenger in the slot, but found by Pico Roger. Another shot there, this time saved by Bennu, as Tombo gets it and goes up to Leitonen, but Leitonen can't hold on. Here comes Pico Roger on the other end. Off for that puck, but gets it back at the corner board. There's Domi at the point, now to Teemu. Teemu shot on, blocked, nearly picked up there by Domi, but it's eventually retrieved by Tunnel Vision, and here they come with a 3-on-3. Vatu, over to Leitonen, back down a little behind the net to Vatu, who carries it, tries to get in front, but can't get a shot off on the backhand. And now here comes Valokuitunen trying to counter. Teemu not able to cross the blue line here as we're over halfway through this first period, still looking for our first goal of the game. A couple of opportunities here and there, but for the most part, it's been a defensive stalemate in this game for us. Benito pass across, picked off by Vatu. Now Tunnel Vision rush on the opposite side. Wenger to Vatu, tried to get the shot off, but his poke checked off for that one before he could. Comes Pico Roger now. Check from behind, and Tunnel Vision takes over possession. Wenger over to Leitonen. 3-on-2 for Tunnel Vision. Leitonen, one-time shot, and he scores! Leitonen opens up game 4 with a goal, and Tunnel Vision, with a chance to seal the deal, takes a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, this is a about, I think the saying is Hawaii hockey. It's just up and down rushes all the time, and I mean, they just scored obviously, but I'd say that definitely favors Tunnel at this point. It kind of feels like Valley, when they get the opportunity to do a rush, to kind of get pushed to the outside, and all they get left is like a source to the middle, which isn't really a high risk play. So I think if they're gonna want to get back into this game, they're gonna have to save it.
Valokuitunen with yet another goal in this series as Valokuitunen now going to try to find a response here. 5 minutes to play in period number 1. Domi with it over at the left point, didn't have anything. Television forces a turnover, but dumps it on the other end. Now will lead to an icing, so Valokuitunen going to have an offensive zone face-off here coming up.
Be interested to see if they have anything planned for this, any like set plays.
Face-off will be to the left side of Bennu, right side of Valokuitunen's offensive zone. Benito and Pico to get the face-off dots tied up, scrum for and found by Tamu at the point. He loses it immediately, however, and Vanger will carry this up and give it up to Leitonen. Leitonen, pass down the middle, picked off by Domi, and Domi now gives it to Nicky Dangles, who feeds Tamu. Tamu back to Nige. Nice disruption there from Television down the middle, but Valokuitunen will hit it back in the neutral zone. Pass up to Pico Roger up the left boards. Shot on was hook check before it could find Bennu. Now Wenger goes on the other end and gives it to Vatu at the boards. Back to Tom. Shot tipped in front and he scores! Who else? Leitonen yet again, his second goal of the game. And Tunnel Vision, they taste the gold right in front of them. A 2-goal lead here in the first period.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like I said before, the neutral zone trap. It's kind of like a half rush, because it wasn't like a clean one, but it's still essentially a free entry when the players on the same caliber as Battle, so definitely got to lock that down, I think, if they're going to try and get back into this game now.
The 90 seconds to play here in the first period. Valokuitunen maybe on their heels a little bit, being down by 2 early in an elimination game. Leitonen controls it for Tunnel Vision, drives his shot on, he scores! A hat-trick for Leitonen in the first period of a potential championship-clinching game! And Tunnel Vision now up 3-0 here in game 4.
At this point, I hate using them, but I think this is a point for a timeout, because players are skating all over the place. They're just kind of rushing for hits, not really poking. I think this is either take the timeout or pray that you can get into the intermission free offing.
Leitonen woke up feeling dangerous. A hat-trick in the first period alone as Television maybe not done. 4 seconds up, pass across, it goes in. It looks like it's being waved off for now. That's Tombo that will get credit for the goal if it does count. Let's get a look at the replay here as maybe a goaltender interference. Didn't look like a kick-in, so we'll see what the final call is. I think they're going to say that's maybe goalie interference on Vatu there in front. And yes, it will be waved off.
I always forget there actually is a way to see if it actually is a goal or not before the catch, because of hand movement, but yeah. That's not the best way to start an elimination game, I think. I mean, even on the goal that was disallowed, it's just free entries. Like, Vactor can just skate in, he doesn't really have to, he's not getting pressured, he doesn't really have to think about what he's doing. He can just take it as it comes, wait for, stop up, wait for Leitonen to come streaming in. It's just a mismatch right now. It's like they're in 2 different divisions.
And you see just for Valokuitunen, you can kind of tell the frustration there, and this is a team that stays rather composed. They didn't look overly worried in the games yesterday. That's one thing we love about the face cams, is you can kind of read the body language, read the expressions on the players' faces. Valokuitunen didn't look like they were overly worried yesterday, but you could tell they were feeling the pressure with how the series was going, and it feels like that feeling of frustration from yesterday has boiled over well into today. This just doesn't look like the Valokuitunen team that we've seen all season, and really even close to the one that we have seen over the last couple of years. It looks like a team that is very disorganized and letting their frustrations get the best of them right now, and we saw that as a trend in the Blackjack series. When things didn't go their way, when the Blackjacks were playing them little bit tighter and stopping their game, Valokuitunen got a bit out of sorts, and that's not something that we've seen from them typically, but it's become a story here in the postseason, and now in the biggest game of their season, things really starting to unravel here for them in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose a positive to take away, in a way. It was, well, the third goal was kind of close to the intermission, so they did get a bit of a respite, and the opening to this period is, well, 3 offsides in a row. It's, even though it's offsides, it's slowing the game down, which, again, the 3 goals that Tunnel got, the slower the game goes at this point, it's better for Valo. They just really need to get their breath right now and get going, because they still have some time left, but yeah, I mean, this is not a good look.
Here comes Vatu on a rush, one touch deep, loose, picked up by Domi, Vatu gets behind the net. Loose all the way to the points, Tombo gets and feeds it to Vatu. Vatu, now the Leitonen, a tripping going to be called, a penalty against Domi, and things going from bad to worse for Valokuitunen. He said that he had to slow things down. That is not how you want to do it.
Not quite. Yeah, this... yeah, I'd hesitate to say that the entire series rests on this PK, but I think the entire series kind of rests on this PK, because a 3-0 deficit, that's doable. 4-0, chance, I'd say. So, this is critical.
Hey, this is about... Yeah, this is a Valokuitunen team that have come back from these deficits before. In the EU Hockey S semifinals in Game 3, they were down 4-0. They ended up coming back in that series. So we've seen some crazy things from this group before, but just considering the momentum that Tunnel Vision has and just really the lack of morale, I guess, that we're seeing out of Valokuitunen, you wonder if that same thing will happen here, but we've seen this team flip a switch plenty of times in the past. They're going to have to do it here in the biggest game of their season. Tamu dancing through, finds a shot. Looked like it may have hit a part of Benu. As a bit more of a power kill, exactly what Valokuitunen needing here right now, down by 3. Vatu with it for Tunnel Vision. Slap shot from the slot, blocked in front, but Leitonen gets it in the corner board. Domi out of the box, back to even strength, so the power play killed off by Valokuitunen. The shot from Tombo, blocked in front by Domi, who got back in position. He gives it up, and finds Piku Roger over at the left wing. Dumped around behind the net, picked up by Tombo, and now Vatu has it. Forecheck being applied down by Valokuitunen, and Benito gets it on the turnover. That's a cross shot from Tamu, saved from Benu, but Piku Roger gets it back. Piku Roger trying to skate to the middle, but nothing there for him, and now Tunnel Vision coming to counterattack with Leitonen. He controls it and gives it back to Tombo at the left point. Tombo loses it. Poke check, breakaway for Piku Roger. One-on-one with Benu. Forehand shot. Glove save by Benu!
I think that's a pretty important save, to state the obvious. Valo kind of feel like they got the skates under them now, and to not score on that, it's got to be a big hit right now. Yeah, the frustration's only going to stop. Well, it's already built up, but now it's going to be a boiling point.
Benu shuts down the league's leading goal scorer in the regular season. A breakaway for Piku Roger. A nice move, but just a better save and a better read by Benu, who has been nothing short of phenomenal. Easily his best work of the season so far in this final series, but he's going to have to keep it up for another 31 minutes, almost halfway through this game. Tunnel Vision up 3. They can clinch the championship if they can hold on for a victory here. They control it in the offensive zone, but lose it on the dump-in. Valokuitunen now looking to start the counterattack. Not able to break in past the blue line there. That'll force a reset. Tamu gonna slap that opposite end. Nothing there. And you feel like Valokuitunen are just trying to grasp at something here at this point, just trying to make anything happen. And another penalty called, a tripping against Benito. And you know, you hate to kind of beat a dead horse here, but it just feels like Valokuitunen are kind of unraveling right now. They're doing a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yeah, it's like they're just kind of sputtering. Like, they'll have a decent shift, I suppose, but then they'll just do something that kind of just pulls all the energy out. I mean, that snapshot prior to that just kind of seemed like desperation. Like, they weren't set up for it or anything. It was just a guy kind of standing high, which, yeah, that's what you want.
Shot from Picardi from the high slot, gloved by Vincete, and the one good thing for Valokuitunen is that they have been very good on the penalty kill so far today, much improved from what we saw yesterday, but that's not going to help much when you are down by 3 in an elimination game. So I guess now the question is, what do they need to do? And what they don't need to do is commit another penalty. and it's a tripping call against Piku Roger. So a 5-on-3 now here upcoming for Tunnel Vision.
I know you said that they had the proclivity for comebacks, but I think this is going to be tested now.
Yeah, it's a high hill to climb. We'll see if they can do it. We'll have to start out on the kill as it'll be Nicky Dangles on the face-off here against Pikari. Puck found by Domi. Slap shot away and given chase found first by Tunnel Vision. Vanger will move this up the ice. 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in period 2. 50 seconds left in the 5-on-3 for Tunnel Vision. Combo pass across to Vaughn 2. One-timer saved by Francerte. Another shot in front, blocked by Nicky Dangles. Tunnel Vision still pressuring. Combo pass to Vaughn 2. Back to Combo. Shot on. Blocked in front by a defender. Domi gets it, slaps it away. That'll be on net. It almost went in. Bennu swept it away, but there was a lot of open net there. Boy, would that have been a momentum shift. Banger, the slap of the card, pass across, puck was in front, and Leitinen puts it in on the rebound. A 4-0 lead, a power play goal for Leitinen, who has all 4 goals for Tunnel Vision in this game. And now, Valokuitunen, it is dire straits here. Anything they have, they're going to have to pull it out right here, right now.
I think that just the last 10 seconds of that play is kind of emblematic for everything, because obviously Tunnel Vision are rolling right now, especially Leitinen, but the defense on the entry, it was just an errant hit, and even if the hit landed, it wouldn't really have done much. It's just...
Two on the rush, backhand shot saved by Francerte off the blocker, who I think you really have to feel for Francerte. It's been phenomenal. Another big save right there. He'll freeze it. It just feels like, you don't want to say that he's been left out to dry, but it just feels like there hasn't been a lot of support necessarily in front of him. He's done pretty much all he can in net, but the play in front of him with the 5 guys have to be there with him now.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Finster, honestly, he's Valor's best player right now. He's made multiple goal-saving saves. Like, honestly, there's probably like 3 or 4 that probably should have gone in any other goal.
Shot from Nicky Dangles, saved by Bennu. Another chance for Valokuitunen. Bennu strong in net. Teemu controls it, tries to give it down the middle to Piku Roger, but he couldn't find him. Puck loose, turned over, and picked up by who else but Leitinen. He's been phenomenal tonight. All 4 goals, and a pass across to Leitinen. Tried to get the shot off with poke check in front. Controls it now, hit off of that puck by Teemu, who rushes up with Benito and Piku Roger. Teemu, the Nicky Dangles, pass across, puck loose, shot on, and they score! Benito steps up for Valokuitunen, breaks the scoreless drought, and cuts that lead down to 3.
Supremely important goal right now. I mean, going into the 3rd period, 4 goals down, you are reaching, but I mean, 3 makes it manageable.
Difficult but not impossible feels like the proper way to describe this for Valokuitunen. Still 1 minute and 48 seconds here. Could potentially get another goal, and if you get that 2nd goal before the 3rd period, then it feels like you're back in striking distance. So here's Piku Roger trying to find something. Puck goes to Teemu after Benito had it for a second. Shot on, save made by Bennu from the point as Piku Roger gets it back in the corner, but turned over. Piku already has it. Picardy to Vatu down the middle, pass in front of the lights, and a shot on, blockered away by Francerte. Another good chance denied by great goaltender. Piku Roger will just hold on to it to kill off the time, and that will wrap up the 2nd period. Tunnel Vision in full control of this one, a 4-1 lead in game number 4. 20 minutes separate them from their last dance, ending at the top of the ECL summit with a championship trophy for the 3rd time in their team's history.
I think as the period goes on, naturally Valor are going to have to start forechecking. I mean, even in the 2nd period, they like upped it massively, even comparing to the 1st. But the more they do that, it's obviously going to kind of play to Tunnel Vision's favor, because they're just going to have to take more chances. So I think, honestly, probably like the first 5 minutes are going to be especially key, because if Valor don't get a goal in the first 5 minutes, Tunnel Vision are going to feast, especially Leitinen. Like, he's going to absolutely pop off if they don't get a goal in the first 5 minutes, I think.
Well, we'll see if they can, and I have to agree with you. And something that you mentioned earlier when we were going through the pregame is how the stats, though they do kind of tell you a bit of an idea of what's happening, they can be deceiving in terms of what actually is happening with the game. And, you know, it's funny that the stats rather even in this one, but yet Valokuitunen not in the game necessarily in terms of a 4-1 differential. So it goes to show you, despite those stats being there, it is the margins, it is the play on the ice that really can be the determining factor. And the games themselves, the stats often can't kind of deceive how a game is going.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the chances that Tunnel Vision have, it's stuff like this. It's half breakaways, rush attempts, 2-on-1s, 2-on-2s. But the chances that Valo have is just sources in front, hoping you'll get a stick on them.
Tunnel Vision trying to get out of their own zone here is, I think right now, the biggest thing for them is to just play mistake-free hockey, not allow anything for Valokuitunen that's easy and cheap, and just try to ride this lead home to a championship.
Exactly. I mean, they don't have to do anything. Like, they're up by 3 goals. Just do the basics, don't do stupid things, and yeah, that's basically all you need to do if you're in Tunnel Vision Fuse right now.
Have it in their own zone, and you see that forecheck now coming out, as you mentioned, for Valokuitunen. Vision able to break past it. Vatu gets past the defender. A breakaway here. Oh, he couldn't get the shot off. I believe Domi got a piece of that from behind. Great defensive play from him. Outside of Fincere, he's probably been the best player on the ice so far for this Valokuitunen team in this series. Valokuitunen moving it in the offensive zone. Domi at the point, lost it on that pass attempt to Nicky Dangles. And now here comes Leitinen on the other end. Dumps it down low, giving chase, and found by Vatu. Takes a massive hit there from Benito behind the net. Teemu sprints up the right boards, trying to find some space. Finds Domi. Domi at the face-off circle at the left side and gives it to Piku Roger, who goes back to Domi. Now back to Piku Roger. Back to Domi. Domi shot on. Look for the tip by Piku Roger. Didn't get a piece of that deflection, and Bennu makes the easy save.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to really, like, massively criticize the, decision, because, I mean, yeah, we're in the finals for a reason. But you'd really want someone to just kind of be in the middle there and actually give him an option to pass to, because just taking a risk on that, it's very low percentage to kind of look for a deflection in that situation.
Boydson trying to find something in the zone, but they can't. Tunnel Vision on the counter. Picardy with a one-touch deke, but couldn't convert on it, and here comes Valokuitunen countering on the other end. Roger tried to find something. Couldn't. Shot from the point that time, saved by Bennu. Valokuitunen still pressuring. Domi at the point to Pico Roger. Shot from afar. Hit the post with the shot. Still on the attack, however, is Valokuitunen. They need to find something quick to get themselves back in this game. Leitinen had it in the neutral zone, but couldn't find anything, and here comes Valokuitunen as that pass hit off of Bennu's pad. Battled for behind the net. Found first by Tombo, who tried to dump it out but can't. Teemu gets it before it crossed out of the zone. As his poke check off the stick of Domi, Leitinen gets it for a second to get them out of the zone. Valokuitunen get it back, but are forced to reset. 6.5 to play. Tunnel Vision trying to close this out. It will take a massive comeback from Valokuitunen to keep their hopes alive. A shot from the point. Save made by Bennu. Here comes Valokuitunen trying to play defense on the other end. Tunnel Vision pass across, shot on, saved by Fincere. Tunnel Vision doing exactly what they need to do. Nothing fancy, but just holding on here. Dangles at the corner, gives it to Teemu at the point. Pass to the slot, shot on, was blocked in front, and it'll trickle to the neutral zone. Now just 4 minutes remaining. Tunnel Vision, they can feel it, they can taste it. He dangles in the slot, poked off of that puck. It finds Teemu in the neutral zone, but it's turned over. Vatu on a partial breakaway. Nice play there. Just goes and kills off the time. Doesn't want to turn over as it finds Fincere. Will play it out. And now Valokuitunen counter on the other end.
I mean, honestly, that play by Vatu, it looks, as you see here. Now,
Oh, it's a chance in front. Nothing there, though, however, for Valokuitunen. They're still pressuring as Benito gets a shot on. Roger trying to find something, but couldn't. 1 minute remaining. As is dumped out, found by Fincere, and sorry to cut you off there, Martindale, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, the previous, decision by Vatu, it looks potentially silly if you just kind of look at it on the face value, but if he passes in front, it could have been turned over, so it's just really safe play, which is what you want to do with Tunnel Vision.
Delayed penalty called on Valokuitunen. Tunnel vision in the offense zone. Shot on, blocked in front. Vatu picks it up. 27 seconds remain. Another shot on, finally touched up by Valokuitunen. With 25 seconds remaining, Pico Roger will likely have to watch the rest of this one from the box. As tunnel vision, the story all season as a pause going to be taken by Valokuitunen here. Interesting decision with 25 seconds left, down by 3, but obviously we've seen some crazy things happen. They want to get that full energy.
Yeah, I mean, I think a team I've played in lost about 3 goals in 20 seconds one time, so it's possible.
And remember, this is a full-time 25 seconds, so, you know, we've seen some crazy things happen, and if anyone can get those goals quick, it is Valokuitunen, but obviously Tunnel Vision going to have to
They had
a pretty big collapse to see that happen. Face off in the offensive zone for Tunnel Vision. Tied up. Won by Benito for a moment in the defensive zone, but picked up by Vatu. They have it at the point with Vanger. Picardy holding it. Tunnel Vision is trying to get fancy with it. Just 10 seconds left, and for Tunnel Vision, it was an up and down regular season. People questioned if they could make it to this point, but they knocked off the defending champs. And Tunnel Vision, in their last dance, are at the top of the ECL mountain, your Spring 24 Elite Division champions. The last song of the last dance, a celebratory one, as Tunnel Vision, for the 3rd time, wear the crown of the Elite Division. As for so long, this Tunnel Vision team has been highly regarded of in this series. They're really a team that epitomizes what it means to rise your way through the ranks. They were in the Pro Division in ECL 11, worked their way up to Elite, knocked out Deadly Phantoms in the relegation series to make it to this point, have made it in the playoffs every single season outside of their first. Many of their core players have stuck around throughout that time. Tombo, the captain, has been there the whole way. We've seen Picardy be there for a long time. Vatu be there a lot of the way. Vanger be there through a lot of this core time in this era. They've been to a World Finals. They've won the championship now 3 times in the 5 finals they have appeared in. The 2 times they lost in Game 7. And for Tunnel Vision, it's a dynasty confirmed, and the perfect final chapter to what could be this team story, as they are your champions for the ECL 24 spring season. A sweep over the defending champs Valokuitunen Esports, who knocked them off last season in a Game 7 final. And Martindale, hard to really contend that this is well-deserved here for Tunnel Vision. Not just in this series alone, but in the way they stepped up in the playoffs and elevated their game multiple levels from what we saw in the regular season.
Absolutely. I mean, I think sweeping any team in the finals is kind of like a magnum opus for most, but sweeping the defending champs is a magnum opus of a magnum opus. And to do it in such convincing fashion, because again, like, on the face value, the games were kind of close, but actually watching them, it honestly, I think 4-0 doesn't really describe it enough. It didn't seem like Val really got their skates going at any point. Like, they would kind of have it at times, but then they'd just kind of sputter out. And to be honest, I think that's just evidence of how good Tunnel Vision are right now. I mean, they made a very competent and very skilled Valo team just kind of not look competitive against them, which is a massive, massive compliment to Tunnel Vision.
Point there that you make, you know, you can talk about Valokuitunen maybe not playing to the level that we would typically expect from them, but at the end of the day, it takes 2 to make that happen, as you see Vatu holding a trophy there in his hand. 1 of 3 that Tunnel Vision will now have in the collection is, you know, as I was saying before, you know, that's a good point there, Martindale. It takes the play on the other end to really make that happen. You know, Valokuitunen, a top team, it's not easy to shut them down. It's not easy to win 4 games, let alone sweep them in a series. And Tunnel Vision did exactly that. They made one of the best teams in all of Europe over the last few years and have kept pretty much the same core over that same time. You know, obviously Pico Roger coming in for Valokuitunen this season. We saw Facete come in for FaZe last season, but the main core of players for Valokuitunen, formerly H-Reds, has been the same for about 3 or 4 years now. And Tunnel Vision went into this series and made pretty light work of them in terms of the overall play. Now, you could argue Valokuitunen maybe deserved at least a game in the series. Obviously lost in double overtime in Game 3 yesterday. Let up a goal late in the third period of Game 2 on the penalty kill to lose that game. But nevertheless, Tunnel Vision's play and their level of play is what forced Valokuitunen into their decreased form. That was, I think, the big story here in this one for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, the flexibility on Tunnel Vision's side strategically, it seemed like they kind of figured out what worked most against Valo, and then just doubled down, triple down, quadruple down, and just exploited every single opportunity they got, which is the sign of not only a good team that's skilled in that they can actually exploit it, but also one that is aware of what the opponent is doing, because not a lot of teams appreciation for the other team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, congratulations to Valo on a great season, but it is all about Tunnel Vision here today, a 4-0 series sweep, as I believe we have an interview set up with the 4-goal scorer himself in Leitinen, had the game winner in double overtime in Game 3, scored all 4 goals in the series and championship clinching game number 4. Leitinen, are you able to hear us, my friend?
Yeah, I will. I hear you.
Well, first of all, Leitinen, congratulations. A 3rd championship in 5 seasons for you guys. First and foremost, I gotta ask, what are you guys feeling right now, knowing that this was the last dance, knowing the emotions behind this? Just describe what you're feeling here with this championship victory.
Well, I cannot imagine a better way to end this journey with these guys. I believe that we can win this trophy one more time. Before the season started, even though we got some roster moves, and I think we proved that we are the best in Europe at the moment.
You know, you mentioned you feel like you're the best in Europe at the moment, and really for the last 2 or 3 years, that conversation of who is the best team in Europe, it's been between you guys and Valokuitunen and Esports, and you've kind of gone back and forth. They had the 3 straight that they had won, then you guys come in and win 2 straight, then they get you guys last year in that Game 7, but you come right back this year and beat them. What do you feel like was the difference in this series for you guys? Because out of all the times that you two have played, this feels like the most complete series that Tunnel Vision has played against this Valokuitunen team.
Well, like you said, last ECL we weren't ready when the series started. We played really bad 4 games in the start of the series, but this year, this ECL, we started to play our best right away, and that was the key to this championship.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned not really getting things started right away, and you know, you go back to the regular season, and that was a lot of the conversation. There were some people maybe even doubting whether you guys would be able to get past the quarterfinals or semifinals because of some of the struggles or inconsistencies in the regular season, but as you guys typically do, you elevated your game in the postseason, you got better and better, it felt like, as things went on. What do you feel like led to the turnaround, or was there a specific moment that you felt like turned things around in terms of your form to get you to this point?
Well, when we started the season, I was playing center, and our game didn't like development that good. And I think after when we changed the position with Pikkari, and we started to watch some videos and just had good conversations about our game, I think that was the reason the biggest reason why our game changed into the right way, and we are here where we are now.
Been with this team for the last 4 seasons, 3 championships in that time. You've been a massive part of really the surge that this Tunnel Vision group has seen. We talked about it a little bit earlier before you joined. This is a group that has really epitomized what it means to make it to the top of the ECL, that journey from the lower ranks all the way to the elite division, to making it to the top, making it to the finals, and eventually grinding your way to a championship. When you just look back on this entire journey since you have been with this Tunnel Vision team, how do you summarize it? How do you describe it to have been a part of something so special that few teams can say that they've ever been able to accomplish?
Well, this journey has been more than just a game. I think I have been meeting like best friends what I have now, and I think this group what we have is part of my life, like outside NHL. So it's a huge thing. I'm thankful for be able to play with these guys and be able to win championships with my best friends. It's a huge honor.
Yeah, if you don't mind me kind of, following up on that, you mentioned not just winning championships, not just playing a game with a group of people, but playing with your best friends. And that really feels like the one thing that is so special about this league, special about esports. I mean, what is that feeling like? Not just to win, but to win with a group of people that you truly have bonded with, not just on the ice, but in real life as well.
Well, when you are playing like some kind of regular season games, you don't maybe have that kind of hype for those games. But when you know that you're coming to play with these guys, it's like giving a huge boost for that, and it's the best thing to win with good friends. So yeah.
I mean, as far as like actually finding a team and playing, it's always really helpful when you actually find people that you like off the ice as well. Because it's one thing if you're just like playing with them, but if you also find someone that you actually enjoy being around, it just makes everything a lot easier, as I'm sure you know now.
Yeah.
But just as like a bit of a question with the finals, was there anything in particular that you guys kind of spoke about going into it that you wanted to kind of focus on, where you thought you could kind of, you thought Valu would maybe a bit something you could exploit on their side going into the games?
Well, at least our own game, what we talked about a lot before the series started, was that we have to be ready right away, because these games are so coin flip games, and they are always like a one goal game. Like we had two of these games in this series were one goal games, so you cannot be sleepy in the start of the games, because if you're giving a couple goals ahead, it's really hard to climb back in these kind of games. So maybe that was the key point for this series and the results what we had today.
Yeah, just a case of making sure you got like through the first 10 minutes and then just kind of wore them down in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Leitonen, don't want to keep you for too long. Obviously, I know you want to go celebrate with your teammates. Just to kind of wrap things up here, is there anything that you want to say to any of the supporters, to any of your teammates, to just anyone in general? Any final thoughts for you as you guys go and celebrate another championship trophy, a third in 5 seasons?
First of all, I want to say huge respect for H-Reds. They are always good opponents to play against. They are the most fun opponent to play against. The games are always so tight, and a coin flip games, like I said before. And I just want to thank my teammates and everyone in the community who have been part with. I'm lucky to be here.
Absolutely, man. Leitonen, congratulations once again. Thank you so much for taking a few moments out of your celebration time to come and speak with all of us here. Congratulations, well-deserved championship. Go enjoy it, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, great job there from Leitonen. Great getting to speak with him. As you heard him say it. It's one thing to win a championship. It's another to win a championship as a dynasty in a last dance with a group of people that you care about, a group of people that you consider friends, brothers. That is what makes this community so special year in and year out, is the bonds and the friendships that form. Tunnel Vision over the years have been able to do that, and you can see that's why this is so emotional for them, this being their last dance, not just because they won a championship, but a group of friends that care about each other and have really bonded, won a championship together.
Yeah, and I mean, being in a team like that, it makes everything so much easier, because like he mentioned when the season began and he was playing center and it wasn't quite working out, if you don't have that bond and trust that everyone's friends in the group, if you don't have that, then you can't bring up issues, because it kind of you'd kind of feel like it would take in the wrong way. But if you're friends and you have that trust, you can bring that stuff up. So you can just be frank, and sometimes that is the difference between a team that rebounds mid-season, as Tunnel Vision evidently did, and another team that just kind of plateaus and then fizzles out. So yeah, I mean, it should be an example of how to build a team, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think the thing that, that now was an amazing interview. I think one of the things that I probably loved the most about what Leitonen said is at the end, when asking him about, what his final thoughts were, if there was anything he'd like to say to anyone, the first thing he did was give props to that Valokuitunen team. The Carlton Reds, obviously formerly known as H-Reds. The first thing he wanted to go and do was to give them that respect. And it just goes to show you that these two teams do have a lot of that mutual respect for each other. And in my interview with Piccoli yesterday, he even said that, Valokuitunen and Tunnel Vision, they're friends off the ice. They are competitors. They are quote-unquote rivals just because they have met in the finals so many different times and been in the playoffs so many different times, but they are friends off the ice, and you saw Leitonen giving them a lot of well-deserved respect and giving them their props there after what was a great season. It just felt a little bit short here in this final series.
Yeah, I mean, when you play a team so many times in high-pressure situations, I guess you either end up loving them or hating them. In this case, I guess it's still more of the loving kind. But yeah, I mean, when you have an intimate knowledge of what the other team is doing, you just kind of gain an appreciation for just like the shared skill between. And yeah, like you said, it's very evident in that that was the first thing he came on and said. Which, yeah, no, I mean, it's really nice to see.
Absolutely is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not done here yet. The games might be wrapped up, but we still do have a little bit of business to take care of. We have some more awards given out. We saw the Forward of the Season award given earlier to Nikki Dangles, the right winger of Valokuitunen, and now we will give out the rest of our awards here before we sign off today. First, the Defender of the Season. And Martindale, a lot of very high-end names here. You think Domi, you think Temu, a couple of names that maybe people didn't necessarily expect coming into the season as well. Moja, a guy that typically has been a forward, stepping back at defense for Exon and doing well this year. His defensive partner in Lundstrom being another one that I think you could think about. Tepin over on Vesapapa, a non-playoff team, but someone that played very well. And Pikisari on Unwanted, a team known more for their offense, but Pikisari statistically one of the best defenders all season long. So a lot of worthy players here for this award. I got to ask you, in your experience, what in your eye really makes that elite level defender in this division at this high of a level of play?
Honestly, whenever I think of probably like the archetype of a good defender, which it's really, it's like a double-edged sword, because while the player I'm going to mention is obviously supremely skilled, probably not something that's attainable to most because he basically didn't practice whatsoever. So like whenever I think of a really good defender, I think of Vatalisti. He doesn't play these days, but I think a good defender in my book is someone that is completely fine just doing 1v1s all the time and has a very short memory, because if as a defender you are going to get beat in 1v1s. It's just the nature of the game and just the nature of the position. So you got to have the short memory to just kind of ignore when stuff goes wrong, if that makes sense, because there's always going to be a next one, and you can't let it influence future ones, because then you'll play a bit scared and then you'll drop back, and then it doesn't really help your team because you're not actually stopping them or slowing them down. You're just kind of letting the forward dictate everything. So I guess the stubbornness and the ego behind it in a way, but also the ability to just make the best possible decisions as much as possible. When to poke, when to hit, when to pressure, when to back off, when to delay for forwards on the back check. It's a lot that goes into a defender, perhaps more so than a forward, but I think along with the short memory and kind of stubbornness, I'd say calmness under pressure. Probably the main thing I'd look for in defenders.
Yeah, and then obviously there's the age-old debate on how much should points be valued. You have a lot of times where the more offensive defensemen can get that little bit of boost because they have higher point totals, but maybe the defensive aspect of things, some defenders that are elite in their own end but don't necessarily get rewarded with those points, kind of get left to the wayside a little bit. So let's see who our defender of the season is. As the winner, Domi, the left defenseman for Valokuitunen. Not the first time that he has won this award. It feels like this has become a very common, occurrence for him. Obviously, he would have rather have brought home a different trophy, but nevertheless, a well-deserved winner in Domi, and kind of similar to Nicky Dangle's winning forward of the season. Not surprising at all to see him take this home once again.
Oh yeah, not surprising anyway. The times I have played against Domi, I usually probably played as a left wing or center. Rare played as a right wing, so I was never really on his side. But I do remember the times I was over there. It's impossible to get past him. Which, I mean, kind of to go back to the 1v1 point I made. I think in terms of that skill to actually dictate and kind of force forwards to do the things that he wants to do as a defender, I think Domi's got to be far and away up there as one of the best in the community at it. And yeah, I mean, the man's been in so many high pressure situations, whether it's 6 versus 6 or I'm pretty sure he usually does well in 1 versus 1 too. Could be wrong. Yeah, the man has the history and the experience behind it. So in finals, he's gonna be about as calm as you can like. So.
And I think that, outside of Fincete, obviously, Domi, probably the best player throughout this final series for Valokuitunen. Again, obviously not the result that they wanted, but Domi at least able to take home that Defender of the Season, a well-deserved award for him, for a guy that, again, has been season in, season out, one of the best defenders in this league. As we will show one more award before we go to another interview. It looks like we have Vatu joining us here in just a couple of moments. But before we do get to that, let's talk about goaltender of the season. And, this is one that typically you see go to one of the top-end teams' goalies for obvious reasons. But, a lot of worthy candidates. Obviously, Fincete, who we just saw in action, someone that should very well be one of the favorites for this award. You have Hansalino, who for years has been not just winning this award, but has been in contention really no matter what team he's on, what season it is. A rookie that I think has a really good case in Carlson Adam for Unwanted. Really was phenomenal, especially down the stretch during their playoff run. You have McSavitt, who came back out of retirement, could make a good case for the Blackjacks. Really just so many goaltenders. And then Stammer, a guy as well for Totorit, who had the second best numbers of any goalie this season behind Fincete. Just so many guys, I think, that you could really say have a good case for this award. And, it isn't just those top teams. It's really all over the board. The goaltending this season felt like it really hit a different level.
Yeah, I mean, I think even going back 4 or 5 years, there was kind of a dearth of goaltenders, at least the average level. It kind of felt like there was 1 or 2 that were exceptionally good. I mean, McSavitt as an example, he's perennially one of the most insane goalies at pulling off saves that no one else can. But yeah, no, there's definitely been a noticeable uptick, and they don't all necessarily play the same either. They'll actually have a little bit of variance, which, I mean, it's nice to see, because in the past it kind of felt like goalies kind of played a bit similar in a way, outside of very few exceptions. So, it's really nice to see the uptick.
Well, let's see who does take home that goaltender of the season. Again, a lot of worthy candidates. Only one can win it, as it is Fincete winning goaltender of the year. And I mean, Martindale, just off of what we saw from him in that series alone, what we saw from him in the playoffs, in the regular season. I mean, you look at his regular season stats, his save percentage, 88.24, just absolutely ridiculous. Quite frankly, only one goalie had a higher save percentage than him, and that goalie played 1 game. So no one was more consistent than Fincete. A lot of well-deserving candidates, but at the end of the day, I highly doubt you're going to see much contention with him being the winner here.
Oh yeah, I mean, 88%, with more games played than 1 is absolutely insane. That's stratospheric levels that I don't think we'll see for quite a while. It's also, like I said earlier in the game, it's a testament to, I mean, his drive as a player, because he's gotten noticeably better over the last few years, and I mean, it's kind of culminated in him winning goalie of the season, which, yeah, I mean, it's a great honor to have. And yeah, even in the games that we saw, in that singular game, he probably saved at least 3 or 4 goals that I think any other goalie would have let in, which, yeah, it's an insane amount of skill that he has right now.
Yeah, and congratulations, Vincente Valokuitunen, sweeping the positional awards there, so just goes to show you how impressive it is that Tunnel Vision were able to come in and win the series in 4 games. So congratulations to Vincente, a well-deserved goaltender of the season award for him. As we'll go to our next award, we have a couple of more here to go through before we do get to our interview, as we have transfer of the season. And again, a lot of very worthy candidates. There was a lot of movement over the offseason. You saw Piku Roger on the side of Valokuitunen, the leading goal scorer, transferred over from Strikers. Definitely has a case to be a winner here in this one. You saw Launen come in and be great for Unwanted. Carlson Adam, the rookie, transferring from Purification over to Unwanted. Another guy that has a case. Bozja, again, for Exen, moving over from H-Reds and being a forward there to going to Exen, back at defense and being a massive contributor. Really a lot of different guys at multiple different positions that could win this award. And Martindale, I'm not sure what you think about this, but I think this Transfer of the Season award, one of the most interesting ones, because you're not just narrowing it down to the best forwards, the best defenders, and the best goaltenders. You have all of these positions together for who really made the most impact for their respective team during the offseason after that move.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a bit of a different tone to the previous ones, because while the previous ones are like, who is the absolute best, this one's a lot more subjective, and it's kind of fun to see how people will weight that subjectivity. So it might be that someone doesn't have as many points as like another transfer, for instance, but they were just that instrumental in the team taking the next step that it kind of elevates any stats that they have underlying that. And yeah, no, I mean, it's also interesting to just see all the transfers, because personally, I couldn't name that many off the top of my head. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, let's see who takes it home as your transfer of the season. Launenex, again, very well deserved, came over from Mustakulta last season. And, Launen, a guy that I think really had a case for a lot of different awards. A rookie in this series, a guy that came in, finished top 5 in points. I mean, one of the more impressive, I think, debut seasons that we have seen from a forward in this division in a long time. And I actually got to call Launen when Mustakulta won the Light Division Championship in the ECL 23 spring season. He is a guy that has a lot of talent, a lot of skill, is definitely one of the up-and-coming players in this league and in Europe. Well-deserved transfer of the season. And once again, this isn't even the rookie award that he could be up for. This is just transfer of the season. So we mentioned some of the names he beat out. Guys like Piku Roger, guys like Mozja, guys that have won championships and contributed to elite-level teams. For Launen to come in his first season and be the most impactful transfer of anyone, insanely impressive, and I can't wait to see what he follows this up with here coming into NHL 25.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like, transfer aside, taking the step from pro to elite is never easy. It's the style of play, comparing the two divisions, is great enough that one player could be great in pro, but kind of falters a little bit in elite. So to make that jump and have the transfer on top of that is just testament to his skill, because, I mean, to do both at the same time is really impressive.
Absolutely. So congratulations to Laune. And again, he has one more we're potentially look forward to. But before we do get to that, we do have another interview. We have Vatu here with us from Tunnel Vision, and it's only the audio, so you will be able to hear him but not see him. Vatu, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, then. Well, first of all, congratulations, a third championship for Tunnel Vision in the ECL Elite Division. Now you've kind of had a few minutes to kind of just let everything soak in, take all of this that's happening inside. What are you feeling? How are you feeling? What are your emotions right now?
Thanks, and of course I feel very good. We played unbelievably good whole series. Like I didn't expect that. We had very hard season, probably hardest one what we have ever had. So it was big surprise for me that we can play on this level in finals.
Yeah, and I know there was the extra bit of motivation. Obviously, all the talk of this being the last dance for this Tunnel Vision team. You're one of the players that have really been with this group from the start, where you guys really started to rise up in that ECL 22 era, and you've been a part of this for Tunnel Vision for so long. Knowing that this was the last run together for you guys as a group to end it off with a championship, really cementing your place in ECL history with a third title, how does it feel to be able to end this era for Tunnel Vision at the top of the mountain?
Of course, this was the perfect ending. Like, I didn't even imagine this can end this well. Like, best series of our time in Elite in the finals, and yeah. Now let's see what happens. I hope this wasn't the full end for Tunnel Vision. I still hope we can keep some lineup here, but this was the great way to end this journey with this core.
For sure. And, just kind of looking back on all of the different times that you guys have matched up with this Valokuitunen and the Esports team, 3 times in the finals, 4 times in each of the last 5 playoffs. Every series has been so close. The 2 times you did lose to them, it was in a game 7 by 1 goal. This was the most dominant that you guys have looked against them. What do you feel like was the key to your success here throughout the series?
Our key to success was that we didn't think about the results or anything like that. We just went there and had fun. Like, that was the biggest reason why we played so well. We didn't have any pressure and just had fun.
Yeah, I think Leitonen kind of echoed that sentiment. Again, it helps having a team full of friends because it allows you to just kind of play loose, and I think it kind of showed in the games as the series went on, because you guys kind of played the same style, whereas Valo kind of started doing like a bit weird, like they would collapse a lot, then they'd be like hyper aggressive, and then they'd kind of like flip between them. But as like a continuation of the question we asked Leitonen, was there anything that you went in specific to yourself on the left side? Was there anything that you were focusing on that you were trying to kind of work your way towards throughout the series, or was it just a case of going in and just seeing how it went in a way?
I just played like I normally do. Like, we have played so many series against Esports or Valokuitunen, so I didn't have to focus on anything specifically. Like, I just played like I always do, and this time I did well.
I think well is an understatement, but it kind of seemed like you were just kind of chilling, just kind of doing your own thing, and you weren't really, I guess, fluxed or flummoxed by anything that was happening. So it was really good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vatu, once again, congratulations to you guys. I'll let you go. I know you want to get back to the celebrating, but before you do, is there anything that you would like to take the time to say? Anyone you'd like to shout out? Anything you would like to say here to any supporters? The floor is yours, my friend.
Thanks for everyone who has supported this Tunnel Vision journey. It has been a nice story, and we always had great fans there. So thanks to them, and thanks to SportsGamer for hosting this tournament. It means a lot for us.
Well, hey, man, congratulations once again. It's been amazing to follow the tunnel vision journey. Hopefully, not the complete end for you guys, but if it is, what a way to end things off. Vatu, thank you so much for taking a few moments out of the celebrations. Go enjoy it with your friends.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, great stuff there from Vatu. Both him and Leitonen just with absolutely amazing answers, and you could tell they kind of echoed the same thing. And the number one thing that came out of their mouths was just the friendship, the bond, and the looseness that they're able to play with because they are so close with one another. And obviously Valokuitunen in a very close group as well, but it's just a little bit different when you know that you are a group of very close friends and you're playing in what could be your last season together. You might be going your separate ways. You can end it off with a championship. It just kind of helps play a little bit more loosely. You're not playing as tight, thinking about, oh, if we don't play well this game, then we might lose a championship. We might lose grip on the series. You could tell that Tunnel Vision wasn't thinking about any of the implications. They were just in the moment, playing the game, and that difference really, really gave them an advantage, it felt like, in the series.
Yeah, I mean, you could see whenever whenever they let in a goal, it didn't really affect them. It was just a case of, oh, okay, we're letting a goal. Let's just continue playing as we have. I mean, the flip side, whenever Tunnel Vision would score, it seemed like Valor would kind of do a hitch, and it's like, oh, they scored. Okay, now we need to do this. But Tunnel Vision just rolled with the punches, and it sounds cliche to say, but really, that's kind of the best way of approaching it. Like, you are going to let in goals. Stuff isn't going to go your way, especially in this game. Bounces are going to happen, but it didn't phase them one bit. And I think, well, like you said, with it being the last roll of the dice, it kind of takes the pressure off because you don't have to think about, okay, well, if we don't win this, then we will definitely have to come back next season and we need to do better. It's like, okay, this is the last shot. Just kind of, just see how it goes in a way. So, yeah, you could definitely see how it played out in the series, that they were just a lot more relaxed, and yeah, that's just the ideal way to play, really.
And again, a big thank you to both Leitonen and Vatu for taking a few moments out of their celebrations to chat with us for a few minutes, give us some of their insights, some of their feelings after winning a third championship in 5 seasons and what has been described as the last dance for this Tunnel Vision group. Before we do wrap things up, we have a couple of more awards to hand out here, as we have the Rookie of the Season, we have our Comeback Player of the Season, and, the Rookie of the Season, always an interesting one. We've already seen our rookie take home a different award in Loudon, taking home the Transfer of the Season. He'll obviously be very much up for the award again in this one, but, his teammate, Carlson Adam, one of the best goalies, contender, arguably, for that Goaltender of the Year award. Another rookie that will be in contention for this award as well. You have some other guys. Rico on Bjorklöven, another goalie that was in his rookie season, played really, really well throughout the year. And, just so many guys that came into their first season, really stepped up, played well. I mean, you even look at Sega Stormy, who came in for Totorit, played really well. Rimpe, who despite playing for a Gotham Knights team that ended up being relegated, had an amazing season in his first rookie year. So a lot of names I think people will consider as a potential contender, and it's going to be interesting, Martindale, to see who takes this one home. What do you typically look for in that first ECL season? I know you've been around a while, but what do you feel like is that common denominator for guys that come up into this level and really do have success in that first year?
Uh, I mean, it feels weird to kind of expect an extreme, but I think typically there's like two kinds of players that will come up. There's the players that will have been like top point scorers in pro, but then they come into elite and they immediately hit a roadblock, and it's how they adjust beyond that point, I think, is the critical thing, because some players will kind of just beat their heads against the wall, and if nothing moves and they're still just beating themselves on the wall, it kind of gets in their head, and they kind of lose the swagger that they had in pro. Because, I mean, especially for forwards, you gotta kind of have that belief that, I guess, well, similar to what I said with defenders, you gotta have that belief that you are just going to be able to beat that guy. And if you don't have that, and you play scared, it really messes with the rest of the team, because one player isn't really pulling their weight in a way. So, I think for rookies, yeah, I mean, it feels a bit of a cop-out answer, because I kind of said it with defenders too, but just calmness and the ability to just be flexible in how they play, because I think ultimately that's kind of one of the most important things that separates elite players and pro players is just the flexibility to adjust to teams and how the game is going, playing out in front of them.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those awards where every position has the opportunity to win. Forward, goalie, defenseman. Let's see who gets it as your rookie of the season for the ECL 24 spring season. Carlson Adam, and Unwanted now taking home 2 awards. Obviously, I think that him and Loudon were more than likely the 2 favorites, I would say, for this one. Both absolutely amazing, 2 of the best at their position for this Unwanted team. Loudon taking home Transfer of the Year, Carlson Adam taking home Rookie of the Season. Both, I think, definitely deserve to take home an award. So nice to see Carlson Adam come in, play really well in between the pipes in his first season, one of the best goalies of anyone statistically, and get himself an award to take home in his rookie season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, goalies. Well, I never played as a goalie, but I think, yeah, in terms of play style, I think goalies might be one of the most affected by the play change between elite and pro, because typically, pro teams are a lot more open and free flowing than elite teams. So, like when they come into elite, they kind of have to do quite a big adjustment. So goalies then kind of have to go from that open play where it's a lot of like rushes and being aware of like one timers and such, and change that up into a very structured kind of play style that goes on in elite. Not necessarily like super fast cross creases, but just weird bounces, being very sound positionally, not necessarily making like super important or flashy big saves. Just being super competent, and I mean the stats. I mean the stats don't lie. He very much came in and played his absolute best, and it shows.
Yeah, and again, congratulations to Carlson Adam, and I think that he really made his name known to a lot of the mainstream. Obviously, he was great all season long, but a lot of times in the regular season, when you're looking at all 16 teams, there's so many players to keep track of, so many teams that are watching. Some players that are a little bit newer or not as known at the elite level can be kind of left forgotten to an extent. Carlson Adam in the playoffs was absolutely outstanding. His save percentage was above a 90% going into game 7. He ended up just being a hair under that 88, but that is still absolutely unreal. And you look at his regular season stats, 15 wins in 26 games played at 85.3 save percentage. I mean, just absolutely unreal what he was able to do in what's just his first season, and one of the younger players in the league as well. So you're looking at a guy that really was able to step up, and someone that I think that many would consider one of the rising and budding stars here in the European scene.
No, yeah, no doubt. I mean, he also, I just realized, one of the other goalies on the team is Benjamin, who in his own right is one of the better goalies that you can find in the community. So again, it's just even more testament to Carlson Adams' skill that he can beat out like a goalie of Benjamin's caliber to that degree.
Yeah, so Unwanted, you knew they were going to have 2 top contenders. It ends up being Carlson Adam winning this award, and again, the congratulations to him, as well as Loudon, again, his teammate, for winning that transfer of the season spot. And last but not least, our comeback player of the season, as this award goes to the player that took a season or 2 away from the elite division, came back this season to play, and this is always a fun one when you see those comeback stories, Martindale, guys that maybe went back down a level for a couple of seasons, maybe took a break for a year, the guys that come back into this division and look like they never left.
Yeah, I mean it's also interesting to see exactly like why they took a bit of a hiatus. Because for some it's like army for Finland, military service. For others, it's just life events that kind of took them out of the play for a year or so, and then for others, it's just motivation. So maybe it was like lacking before, and then it just kind of took a bit of a step back, and then came back and almost playing at a level higher than when they left, really. So, I mean, it's really, really cool to see.
Yeah, and you look at a few people that will more than likely be candidates for this one. I think obviously one of the first names that come to mind for people was McSavid. Took the break last season, came back with the Blackjacks this year, and was really phenomenal for them all season long. Him and Simbano, one of the better goaltending duos on paper, probably in the league. You look at a couple of guys for Totori, a team that I guess you could say was the comeback team of the season if that were an award. A lot of those guys took a break after last season. A couple of players for them going to be in contention, I'm sure, for this one. Guys like Oyala, guys like Stammer, who also I think had a case for the potential goaltender of the year award. You look at Bobby on Bjorkloven, inexperienced team for the most part. Bobby, a guy that didn't play a lot of ECL action, played just 8 games, I believe. It was for H-Reds a couple of seasons ago. Went down to, I believe it was the light division, and came back up with Bjorkloven and was absolutely phenomenal. Easily, in my opinion, one of the more underrated forwards this season. So a lot of good candidates for this award this year in what could be a little bit more of a limited pool of players as our winner of the Comeback Player of the Season award for the ECL 24 spring season, Oyala. And again, Oyala, a part of that Totori team that was not in the ECL Elite Division last season. They were last here in the spring 23 season, finished in no man's land, came back in replacing Mayhems, a rejuvenated Totori team. When I talked to them actually in the playoffs, I believe it was Stammer that I actually interviewed, he said that he felt like that break for that one season really helped this team a lot. And Oyala, a guy that has been a part of this team, even when they won the Pro Division Championship a year or two ago, comes back, plays phenomenally, helps lead them to a top 4 seeding in the playoffs, and a well-deserved Comeback Player of the Season award for him. And, well, it's like I said, a pretty stacked pool of players that typically is a little bit more limited due to the criteria that you have to meet.
Yeah, I mean, it's never easy taking like a season out, especially if it's especially if it's like over an actual game change too, because it's not just that the game could change. It's the meta changes. It's also staying fresh yourself. I know if you like step away from the game for even a week and then you come back, it might be like you might feel good for like the first game or two, and then it just kind of crashes because you then start actually realizing the stuff that you're doing differently. So yeah, I mean to come back and improve upon the last season quite substantially too at that is it's just a testament to I guess the rebound ability of Oyala, and it'll be really fun to see if it if he can continue the upswing for next season too, along with the rest of Tortorid.
Yeah, and I think Totorit, they're going to be a team that a lot of people are looking at. I think when you get into the winter season for ECL 25, as we mentioned, caught a lot of people by surprise finishing in the top 4. I don't think many people had them even making the playoffs, considering that they were in no man's land. And the last time that they were in the ECL Elite Division, they finished there and then took the break last season. They come back this season, prove a lot of people wrong. And you look at the stats for Oyala, 49 points in the 30 games that he played. Just 3 shy of the team lead at 31 assists with 18 goals. He was really able to do a little bit of everything. 111 takeaways as well. So not just great on the offensive end as a forward, but contributed a bit defensively as well. Very deserving award for him. And as you mentioned, Martindale, going to be interesting to see where he and Totori go from here after maybe catching the ECL division, Elite Division, sleeping a little bit. Now, everyone very aware of what Totori are able to do. So obviously, a lot of things in the landscape could and probably will change between now and when we're next back in November. But nevertheless, Totori and Oyala are going to be a team to look out for, and I'm interested to see where they go from here. As we will head back into the booth here for one final time, as a big congratulations once again to Oyala for winning the Comeback Player of the Season award, and congratulations to all of our winners for our awards. Nikki Dangles, Forward of the Season, Domi, Defender of the Season, Finstede, Goaltender of the Season, each of those 3 representing Valokuitunen Esports, while Transfer of the Season, Launex for Unwanted, Rookie of the Season, Carlson Adam, the goaltender for Unwanted, and last but not least, obviously, as we just saw, Oyala for Totorit, winning comeback player of the season. Martindale, a great series, tunnel vision, taking the sweep, maybe flattering a little bit on the score sheet in terms of the final 4-0 zip. You could argue Valokuitunen maybe deserved at least a game in this one, but I don't think anyone's going to debate. The proper team won this one. Tunnel vision better throughout most of the series and rewarded with a title. And as you heard both Vatu and Leitonen say, it was a very meaningful championship between a group of friends that likely, at least for the time being, have had their last run together here in the Elite Division.
Yeah, and I mean, I think also just like the context surrounding it, this one especially is going to be feeling extra sweet to them out of all the championships they have. Because obviously the first is always going to have like a strong point in their mind, but coming into the season, knowing it was the last one, having a little bit of a wobbly moment, I guess, to start the season, and then, fixing it, working at the problem, coming back strong and building on it throughout the season, and then culminating in a sweep, I think is going to make it feel extra sweet in their minds. So, yeah, no, I mean, the 4-0, probably a little harsh towards Valu, but yeah, that's nothing to say against Tunnel, because they came in and, yeah, they just stuck to their game plan the entire series, and I mean, I think it shows, because, yeah, they just played super flexible, super loose. They just, again, cliche, but they went out and just kind of played to have fun, and usually that's when good things happen. So, yeah, it's good to see as well that a team that kind of based around, like, friends, rather than just going out to try and find the best players, kind of comes out on top. So, yeah, it's really nice to see.
Yeah, it really shows what we love about just this community, what we love about esports as a whole. As before we do go, we'll take one look at the finalized playoff bracket to show you the completion of what we have been covering here this season. So grateful to be able to do it. As you can see, Tunnel Vision, your ECL 24 Spring Elite Division champions. A great journey for them. Again, a hungry Bjorkloven team in the quarterfinals. A team that a lot of people said maybe could be an upset pick, with Tunnel Vision struggling a little bit in the regular season to find consistency. They make rather quick work of them. They go up against Strikers, come back from a 3-2 series deficit after losing Game 5 in a 4-0 shutout. A lot of people thought they were maybe down and out. They were down in that Game 6 as well, 1-0. Ended up coming back, and we saw a late goal by Vatu with just mere seconds remaining in Game 6 to win them that game, pushing it to Game 7, winning 1-0, and then ending it off against Valokuitunen and Esports, who had quite the journey themselves. A dominant regular season, a scare against Blackjacks in the quarterfinals. They get past them, get past Exon, make their way into the final round yet again. But that group of friends, that bond, that friendship, that togetherness, that play to have fun mentality that Tunnel Vision had this season in the playoffs, just too much for Valokuitunen to overcome. And Tunnel Vision, the dynasty, and the storybook ending in their last dance complete, a 4-0 series victory in the finals. They are your ECL Elite Division champions for the Spring 24 season. As we will go back into the studio, we want to take a few moments to thank a few important people, everyone behind the scenes at SportsGamer GG that makes this possible, from staff members, obviously Ken, the man that makes all of this happen, does so much behind the scenes to make this league run and operate, does not get the thanks he gets or deserves a lot of the time, so a big shout out to him for everything he does. Chris Ryan, the amazing production on our league coverage all season long. King Lime, who handled a lot of the production and a lot of the casting on his own for the first part of the season. Want to make sure we give him his due. Obviously, Sin coming in for a lot of the season. Such an amazing job that both of them have been able to do covering this league throughout the season. Can't go without thanking our sponsor in COVID Unlockability for their amazing and generous support of what we do here at the ECL and at SportsGamer, not just this season, but throughout many, many years of our coverage. What we do would not be possible without the support of COVID Unlockability and many of the others that have supported us throughout the years. So want to make sure to give them their thanks. And a thank you to you, Martindale, for coming in and joining me here today. You did an amazing job stepping into the booth, some great insights, some great points. A legend of the ECL community, so nice to get to work with you for the first time, and a thank you for taking the time out of your night to come join us here for this final series.
Yeah, no, I mean, thanks for letting me on. I mean, you kind of gain an appreciation for commentators and broadcasters because you then realize after talking for about 5 minutes, it's like, okay, this is actually harder than anticipated. Yeah, big props to you and the entire broadcast crew for going through each and every season and putting on a good show.
Absolutely. And again, you were amazing. So thank you for that. And obviously, a big thank you to all of our teams and players that participate in these things. This league would not be what it is without them. Their cooperation from interviews to getting stats in, just signing up in general and playing and investing in what we do here. We appreciate them more than we can even let you know. So thank you so much to everyone that has participated this season. Tunnel Vision, your ECL 24 Spring Elite Division champions. They sweep Valokuitunen Esports in 4 games, their 3rd championship. It was their final dance together as a team. Congratulations to Valokuitunen Esports for a great run, and congratulations to our champs in Tunnel Vision. For myself, for Martindale, for Chris Ryan as our producer, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you guys again in the future for some more ECL coverage, some Pro Division coverage, some 1v1 coverage. Maybe some light and core division coverage as well, so we are not done yet. Make sure you follow us at all of our socials at SportsGamerGG. Make sure you go to sportsgamer.gg to keep up with everything that we are doing here on the competitive side of NHL Esports. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great night, everyone.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.